Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jason Mendonca from Alfresco. I hope you can all hear me all right. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We're here to talk with Alfresco and MicroStrategies about Alfresco Document Management Processing Solutions. And MicroStrategies has been a partner of Alfresco for a number of years and has created some very interesting and intriguing solutions for a number of different customers and different verticals that I'm sure Adam and the team will talk through. So today's agenda, just to give you a quick overview, we're going to talk a little bit about Alfresco, who we are and what we do. We're going to get you a MicroStrategies overview, and then we're going to dig into the fun stuff, start looking at the document management processing solutions, do a demo of that, and then, of course, answer any questions that you all have. So just jumping into it, what is Alfresco? I'm sure many of you are on this line for a specific reason, but Alfresco is an enterprise content management solution. We're taking a look at sort of the buzzwords of the world today, and cloud is obviously one of the top of people's minds. So Alfresco's positioned themselves as the cloud-connected content platform. The whole point is that, in the world that we live in, folks need to be able to access their crucial, work data from anywhere and everywhere. So if you've got people out in the field that need to be able to access a form or get some answers from an engineer, for example, then obviously you need to have your tablet mobile devices active. The on-premise, the in-cloud solution obviously needs to be there. And the most important thing, I think, personally, is the fact that Alfresco, being more forward-thinking, has built the entire platform, be it mobile, be it on-premise or cloud, to leverage the same API. So your developers develop once and can deploy on any and all platforms. A little bit about Alfresco, the company. We've been around for 7+ years at this point. We've got greater than 2,300 enterprise customers leveraging Alfresco today. The thing that I find really most interesting is being open source. It gives us the ability to leverage that open source development model. So we've got an active community of thousands of different developers, 300+ partners worldwide that help us make Alfresco stronger, better, faster, so that when you leverage the enterprise version, you can feel safe in the extra work that Alfresco puts in to make it secure and stable for you. A little look at some of the folks that leverage Alfresco. We've got our glorified marketing slide here showing you some of the big names. I think the important thing to note is that we're not just solving problems for small companies. We do solve problems, big problems for relatively large companies out in the world, government and commercial. And the thing that actually intrigues me the most about this slide, frankly, is the 90% renewal rate. As an open source subscription model company, what we do is every year you come back to us and you tell us if we're delivering the value that we promised. If you don't like what we've done for you, if you don't feel like we're doing our job, then you can feel free to continue to leverage that open source code, and you don't necessarily need to renew. But with 90+% of our customers renewing every year, that tells me that we are delivering the value that we promised. So Alfresco is a platform. We've got the three different approaches, right? We've got the enterprise version, we've got a cloud version, and we've got a mobile app. The neat thing about it is you can leverage any and all of them together, or you could leverage them separately. The mobile app, you're still going to need an on-premise solution, but we give you that robust ECM platform. We do give you a cloud solution that allows for business-to-business collaboration. The cloud solution today is sort of a subset of Alfresco, but we are continuing to add more features and functionality to it. And then, of course, the mobile solution makes it easier for you to access your content on the go, on the road, wherever you might be needing to get to it. A number of different companies are out there. They're trying to leverage things like Microsoft Office as part of their, some of their tools. Maybe they're leveraging a portal like a LifeRay portal or a JBoss portal on the front end. Bottom line is Alfresco is designed to be standards-based, open source, open standards, making sure that the tools that you're needing to leverage in your day-to-day work are all able to be integrated with Alfresco through partners like MicroStrategies that can help you solve the business problems that you have. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Adam Storch at MicroStrategies. And Adam has created a number of great solutions, but I'll let him go ahead and dig into that.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. So as said earlier, what I'm going to do is step you guys through a couple of the modules that we've put together to help processing documents using Alfresco as that back end. Okay? Really quick overview. MicroStrategy's been around since '83. We're over 110 people. We're a platinum partner for a while now, and we also do a lot of work on the infrastructure side of life as well. But getting to the key thing of why we're here, some key solution components. So these are things that we have either leveraged or built ourselves, okay, to help, if you will, take more advantage of the Alfresco repository and get a better return on investment for our clients. The modules you see listed here, the MSI Profiler, which is a tagging tool for identifying documents, kicking off workflows and so forth, and I'll show you some screens in that. Our advanced search module not only does the searching like you expect to have, but just things you could do with the result sets like exporting them or publishing, selecting documents in that result set and pulling them together into one PDF. So some neat stuff. I'll show you the searching piece. An Outlook integration that allows users to, quite frankly, avoid duplicate storage. So in other words, you have a client who sends you and two of your colleagues at your company the same email. Instead of allowing that email to be stored 3 times, the Outlook integration avoids that duplication of storage, as well as, while you're storing it, assigning the metadata. Office integration is a plugin we've got that allows you to save documents right into the repository while adding metadata. Okay. Our Adobe integration is from Acrobat. At this point, 8, 9, and 10. You're able to, from there, either open files from Alfresco as well as save files to Alfresco, and in doing so, attaching properties or metadata. Auto import module is basically the idea that says there are different systems out there. Maybe you've got a system that's creating statements or invoices going out, okay, and you want to get those memorialized into the repository. We've written some import modules that allow you to get that fed in. Tablet or iPad access, leveraging the great mobile application that Alfresco does have for accessing the repository from a tablet or iPad. Our document processing dashboard, which allows you to basically understand what is in your inbox and access other pieces from that, like audit history and all that other stuff, to know what's going on with documents. And then a productivity dashboard. This is more of a, how many documents came in from where and so forth. So again, going in, the document processing part, what you're looking at here in this diagram, left to right, paper documents are coming in this example. They're scanned in, and we work with a number of scanning vendors to accomplish that. And then from there, it goes to the MSI Profiler. And the idea behind the Profiler is that mechanism that allows a user to go off and tag the document as well as view the document. So as you see on the right, you've got a sample document with a couple of pages, a little thumbnail for the pages on the right. On the left, you've got basically the metadata information. You've got information around origin, so where that document came from. And what that filtering thing up at the top allows you to do is perhaps you've got a number of feeding mechanisms, multiple scanners, maybe you've got the idea of incoming faxes or what have you. You can control what documents you want to process based on where they came from. And then you've got the concept of classifications, and for those of you who are very familiar with Alfresco, that's those aspects. So if I choose, in the top you see our matter selected. If I choose invoice, I'd then be given the invoice metadata. That would appear down there where you see document properties. But the key thing is you're able to, on the fly, when documents come in, profile those documents, and then send them off. And again, they send them off depending on your needs. You'll see where it says next queue. That next queue can work in an ad hoc fashion, like you see there, where you select a functional role or group, and it goes off. Also, the profiler is able to access any activity workflows. So if you're using activity and you've got a set workflow, you can use business rules, and based on those business rules, it'll either select the right workflow for activity, or it will just use that workflow and send the document on its way to the next task. But the key thing when we talk about the profiler is its ability to quickly and easily, from within Alfresco, allow you to add the metadata or property to the document, route it around, okay, request notifications or send notifications to people. You're also able to email the document right out from here as well. So a lot of different features, but again, it's that processing of bringing documents in. The next thing is the incoming emails, okay, or Outlook integration. The idea here is the Outlook integration can allow a user to hit the Save to Alfresco box, as you see there on the email, all right, and that window pops up, and that window there where it says Save to Alfresco is very similar, okay, to what you might have remembered seeing a few moments ago in the profiler. You can choose the different aspects or classifications, so in other words, what type of metadata or properties you want. All right. This is a configurable panel that says this happens to be for a matter situation or a legal thing. This, for some clients, has said vendor. It's deal. It could be project. Whatever your needs are. But it'll outline this here. And when we talk about the lookup, usually we're looking up against some other system, an Oracle CRM or financials. It could be a homegrown system. In the legal world, a lot of times it's a matter management system. But there's usually some sort of validation lookup here. The left here, you'll notice that you've got the email and the subsequent attachments. So we break apart the email and its individual attachments. In this example, you'll notice everything's green. The reason it's all green is in this example, this email has already been saved. Had this email and its attachments not already been saved, it would be red. Okay? Of course, there's going to be situations where you've got what we call turnaround documents, or in other words, you've emailed a document out to somebody, and now it comes back in, okay? If it's coming back in, the system would have that email right there is red because it's a new email. But what you'd also have is the attachments would be green and the version number would be different. So in other words, if your version in the system is 5.1, okay, what would appear here would be 6.1, all right? So it would automatically let you know, hey, when you save this document, it's going to version it, all right? And, of course, the properties are similar to what we talked about before. In that, by virtue of what you've chosen here, aspects, the classification piece, I click on that and I can enter my metadata, all right? What you want to take away from this particular module is the idea that says, from here I can save my email and attachments into Alfresco. I can assign the appropriate properties, okay? And also I can avoid the duplicate storage of the emails. So knowing that, hey, somebody's already stored this email, don't need to do it again, avoiding that duplication piece, all right? The other thing that's obvious, that you would get is you've got the from piece as well. What I mean by the from is when you're sending an email out, you'll also be able to reach into the repository to attach a document there as well, all right? So you can either, when you're creating a new email, send an attachment from the repository, or in this example, as you see here, when you're saving an email, you can break apart, of course, that email and its attachments. That way the attachments are more useful because they've got the appropriate metadata. Also keeping in mind that when we save the email, okay, we're saving the email in the repository in the form it came in, okay? So basically later on down the line, if somebody goes back to that document, all right, it'll be linked to the email. So they'll do their search, let's say, in a search screen, and they'll get to that document. They can look at related objects, which is an out-of-the-box feature in Alfresco, and it'll say, hey, this email is linked to it. When they open up the email, it is an actual MSG file. So basically it'll open up Outlook, and they can forward that email to somebody else if need be, or at least be able to know exactly what email drove this document coming into the repository. All right. So again, nice little way of being able to save your emails, okay, into the repository as they come in, and easily identify and tag those attachments. Okay. The next thing is the Office integration, and what we did here for people is, again, trying to keep that concept where people like to live in Outlook or they like to live in Office. From here, you'll be able to, from the Office products, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and we've got this working, with 2007, 2010. So you've got, the versions out there that we can work with. Basically, you hit Save to Alfresco, and you're presented with a screen, and that screen allows you to do lookups. And again, this is based on the different department or client implementation. This one says client and matter. Some of them will say vendor. Others will turn around and say product or project or deal. But, based on your configuration, you've got the ability to look up, grab that folder or site, okay, and then attach the metadata and save the document. This little integration, what's nice about this is this can keep everybody in the Office products, okay? So they can live within Word, Excel, or PowerPoint and be able to open from and save to the repository, as well as be able to attach or assign the appropriate metadata. And of course, you've got the browse piece here, recent docs, as well as the document search piece, all right? And just so you also know, the components I'm going through, we do have them on the MicroStrategies YouTube channel, full-blown demos of each one of these, okay? So obviously, giving you an overview here of all the pieces. But if you want to see these things in action, the MicroStrategies YouTube channel has, a full demo of each one of these, all right? And the features, again, this is the browse. Recent documents will tell you, or show you, I should say, the recent documents you've worked with. And search gives you a full-blown search of the repository, okay, right within your Office applications, all right? So key thing, being able to stay in those Office applications and go off and save documents, open documents, and work with those documents, okay? On the Adobe side, again, same premise. If I'm working with Adobe, perhaps I want to stay in Adobe, okay? Not a different screen, and of course, not by accident. Right here, you've got the open from Alfresco and save to Alfresco in Adobe, okay? And you get the same screen. And again, it's the exact same screen in the sense that when you deploy the integrations that we've got here, these integrations are very light. And what I mean by that is it's really just the menu and the communication back to the server. All the neat stuff you see here, all these pieces, this is all sitting on the server. What that means is basically as things evolve and change, you're not redeploying to the desktop. It's a very light install on the desktop. So changes, anything done here sits on the server, so when the users access the open from Alfresco or save to Alfresco, they are able to, access all that very useful information and access the repository without having to redeploy everything. But again, same concept with the browse and the recent documents and document search. Obviously, the biggest difference on recent documents is, in this case, it would say the recent documents that are PDF, as opposed to if you were in Word, it'll show the Word ones, Excel, and PowerPoint, and like that. All right? But the takeaway from this slide is that you can live within Adobe Acrobat to be able to access your documents. Okay? The next thing is external systems, or importing external systems and so forth. This, not a lot of exciting demo piece here, but what I will tell you is a lot of times we'll have situations where there's some sort of system, maybe it's a customer service system, building letters that are going out directly to clients. It could be a financial system or something building statements, or a system building invoices, and you want to store those documents in the Alfresco repository. So what we do is basically a little integration piece that they'll take those documents to a drop zone, we'll pick them up, we'll parse them. If we've got all the metadata we need, all the properties, then we'll put it right into Alfresco, into the appropriate site folder and so forth. If certain documents, for whatever reason, don't have the appropriate information, they can be shifted off to the profiler. But the key thing to take away from this little slide is that you've got the ability to sort of link your external systems, okay, and the feeding of Alfresco from those external systems. And then, of course, tablet and content pieces. Alfresco gives you this right out of the box. Capitalizing on their iPad app, which is a pretty nice one, allows you to access the documents, okay, as well as work with the documents, in other fashions. We've done some basic stuff around some forms processing, which is kind of neat. But the key thing to note is you're able to access those documents from the tablet as well. Now we get to the document processing dashboard. The document processing dashboard is the idea of sort of an inbox, if you will, based on documents that have been routed around. Could be documents through activity, or it could be just more of an ad hoc piece. But the dashboard itself allows users to go off and see what documents have been routed to them in a little dashlet, if you will. Okay. Now this dashlet, I realize it's got all sorts of colors. The colors do mean something. So documents routed directly to a person appear in red. Those that have been routed to a group they belong to. So let's say there's a processing group and you belong to that group. They would come in gold. All right. Blue is there because sometimes, and this happens with client-related stuff. In this case, it's working with a law firm and matters. But we've got this with other places that manage clients, and they want to keep an eye on documents that come in for that, in this example, matter, or perhaps for a client, or what have you. So the idea here being, if you set up what we call in this case a matter of interest or a client of interest, and that all depends on how you configure the system or how we've set it up for you, but it would come in blue. So you know that those documents are coming in only because they're a matter of interest or a client of interest. Otherwise, you wouldn't get them. So nobody's asked you to do anything, but you said, you know what, I want to keep an eye on every document that comes in for a certain project or client or what have you. Obviously, if it's red, it means somebody's looking for some information on there, and they want to know what's going on. Okay. The other buttons you see there, when you see a little stacked button here and the little comment button, you can actually click on this button, and what will happen, it'll give you audit history for everything that has happened to that document. And we do that because a lot of times users want to be able to see what's gone on, who assigned the document, where did it come from, what have people done with it, so you can see the full audit trail, if you will, of that document, right from clicking that little icon on the document, or I can click on the comment to see the comments. If you were to click anywhere here, it would take you to the Profiler application so a user could process it. Says, oh, I got to do something with this document. I click on that link, and it allows me to process that document. Up here at the top, if I click on what is, in this case, matter, it could be project, it could be client, it could be vendor. If I click on that, it takes me straight to their site. Okay, the number, of course, corresponds to the number of documents that have come in for that particular, again, matter or client or project or whatever. So the dashboard's an interesting, nice, colorful way of being able to see what documents are coming in either for you to do something with or for, or to know what's going on with a particular client, vendor, or whatever. Okay, and again, this is a little dashlet that sits inside the system. All right. The document productivity dashboard, this is more of a numbers game, and the idea behind that is you can go off, go to the dashboard and say, okay, 60 documents showed up of this type, or there's 5 documents 20 days old. It's really a numbers game. And the reason I call it a dashboard as opposed to a report is when that image shows up and you've got whatever your configuration is, you click on a number that says like 10 documents showed up for this vendor or 20 documents are this old, okay, it'll list out all of the documents that make up that number. So you can then easily see what documents make up that piece. Okay? We talked a little bit about the search module. All right? If we look at the way the search module sort of works, you've got the simple search. All right? And we try to keep that simple. So, here you see matter ID. It's been vendor ID for some, companies or departments. It's been client or deal. It really depends on what that unique piece is. This box right below allows the user to go off, put some text in there, and they can say, I want to look for that information I typed in the document properties or the document content, the full text piece. If I select the both, which is the default, it will take that text and look for that in the properties as well as in the content. So it's a simple search, a quick search, allows people to get access to documents. If you want a more advanced search, you've got that right here, and the idea with this is I've got all my metadata fields. And of course, based on the class I choose, okay, other metadata fields will appear. All right, so users are able to go off and do their search based on the class of document they're trying to work with. And the idea behind that is in an enterprise system, you could have a number of these, and you don't want to have some screen, a search screen that has 50 fields on it, because in reality, nobody's looking for 50 fields. So the idea here is to minimize or to show only what information they need to find that particular document. All right. Once you get your result set, you can click on the header to sort it, ascending or descending. What's also nice is you can go off and choose what columns should appear. Now, the idea behind that primarily is because you've also got the ability, okay, to either export those to PDF or to Excel. So what's nice is if I click Export to Excel, whatever fields I've selected and that result set would be dumped into an Excel spreadsheet, because sometimes the result set is almost more important than the actual documents. So you're able to go off, and in the example, I've got the top box clicked, so it's selecting everything. And that's what gets dumped out to an Excel spreadsheet. If I was to select a few documents, then a few would be in there. But like I said, a lot of times what we find is people are looking for that result set, and that result set becomes almost more important than the documents themselves. Another neat thing you can have is within that result set, one of the columns can be a link, okay, to that document in Alfresco. So if you make this Excel spreadsheet, maybe you clean it up or paste it in with something else, if you give somebody that and they click on that link, it'll ask them to access Alfresco. You know, it'll turn around and say, okay, please enter your credentials, and get you right to the details page for that document. So again, the idea behind this Excel piece is to be able to export those documents, export that result set, so you've got that report, and of course get you back there as well in terms of clicking on the link to get you to the document in the repository. The other piece is an assembly piece, so exporting documents from that result set. And a lot of times the Excel spreadsheet piece I just showed you is used in conjunction with this. So I go off and I say export to PDF. Any documents I've selected are automatically merged together, okay, and displayed in front of you. So no matter what those documents are, assuming they're, of course, transferable to PDF, which is really your Office documents, of course, PDF and so forth, but you're able to go off and create one single document that makes up all of those documents in that result set. And as I said earlier, you know, a lot of times this is used in conjunction with the export to Excel, because the idea is a user will go off, they'll click Export to Excel, and that becomes the manifest, if you will, the inventory of what is then in the Export to PDF file. All right? Because when I hit Export to PDF, it would then assemble those into one file in the order you see. So you'd have the Excel spreadsheet, which would be every document listed, in conjunction with the PDF, okay, that is all of the puzzle pieces that make up that document. So again, a lot of times they're used together, okay, so people can have, you know, the exported PDF as well as a list of all the files in the Excel spreadsheet. So together, that gives you what we talk about is our process manager or processing solutions, okay? You've got the idea of having different documents coming in different ways, all right, allowing users to either, okay, handle documents from their email, staying in Outlook, staying in Acrobat, or staying in Office, okay, as well as processing those documents in a same simple interface to be able to tag them, identify them, if you will, all right, and then keep an eye on what's going on with the documents, audit how many have come in for certain reasons, and of course, search and export those documents. So that gives you a flavor for the different, again, modules we've seen. Some clients have all, some just have parts. You know, some clients really focus on the email side and the Office side, okay? Others live in PDFs, so their world is much more, you know, PDF focused. But again, this gives you the whole process map on how the whole thing looks. So hope that's been valuable to everybody as far as an understanding of what's going on. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, but I'll turn it back over to Jason.
Thanks, Adam. That's excellent. I want to open it up to questions, and I also just want to throw out that you know, there's a number of different ways that MicroStrategy's been able to help you know, different companies, different verticals. They bring actually a level of expertise in finance, in state, local, federal government. They bring expertise in legal, pharma, and life sciences. And I think that the beautiful thing here is that although Alfresco is a very strong platform, the business understanding and the expertise that they bring to be able to solve your everyday problems is what really probably resonates best with you guys on the line. So again, any questions, please feel free to reach out. The question panel should be open to all of you. And otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll look forward to hearing from you all in the future. Not seeing anything come through, so why don't we go ahead and wrap up. Adam, if you, actually, why don't I forward to the next slide here. Adam's contact information is right there at the bottom right. If you guys need help and have questions around MicroStrategies and Alfresco, please feel free to reach out to Adam and his team. Thanks so much.